Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. And today I'm going to be talking about a very interesting recent release of Nick Drake. Nick Drake, the folk artist who released 3 records during his lifetime. So what's new? Well, the making of 5 Leaves Left is new. And this is a box set with 4 discs. And one of the discs contains 5 Leaves Left. Actually, the way we know it, from the 2000 remaster that I have here on vinyl, on the top of my collection. Beautiful sounding remaster. Unfortunately, I do not have an original to compare it to because they are very valuable. But that remaster sounds pretty good. But what are these other 3 discs, and what is the making of in music terms? What's the making of on vinyl? Well, it's not some sort of audio documentary. These are outtakes, demos, and they even contain some recent new found home demos from, I believe, Cambridge, which give us an insight in the process of Nick Drake. Now, diving into it, putting the first disc on, which starts off with Mayfair, and it's the first Sound Techniques session, which is a brilliant opener to this collection of songs. You hear some chatter in the studio, and almost with nonchalance, Nick Drake plays the most perfect, subtle, nuanced, and layered version of this song. His musical gift, as it's just almost seems to spontaneously start. I mean, his gift here is just stunning. It really is stunning. The purity, the directness, and the way his voice sounds, the way all these words seem to make so much sense to him and to me as a listener. Last night I spent hours and hours and hours with a friend of mine listening to vinyl, drinking beer, and you're constantly impressed by the artists you hear. So I'm constantly listening to music, but putting this disc on and listening to the Mayfair recording, and just the way this talent outburst starts, it's incredible. The engineer tells him near the end when he stops, "Oh, just keep going." And as if it's nothing, he just hops into "Time has told me," which is just as Mayfair too beautiful to describe in words. This is incredible. This session is just incredible. We go to Man in a Shed, and I'm really astonished by the sound of his guitar as well. And mostly the certainty with which he finger picks. You know, it's not just that, it's the dynamics of the finger picking, the change in volume, the way he attributes a certain sound to a certain snare, and it just keeps going. His technique is just simply astonishing. Then we go to Fruit Tree, and again, astonishing in every aspect of it. The guitar playing, the voice, and also the writing. When I listen to this version of the song, I feel a longing for the melancholy of fall, of autumn. I just want to listen to this when the leaves start coloring orange and the sun hangs low. I love that autumn sun. That's all that's coming to my mind. It is so beautiful, so beautiful. We go to Saturday Sun, and the way he plays the piano here, it is so different from the guitar. He lays down basic chords with a lot of room for the vocals. Man, while listening to this, I'm thinking this may be the best thing that happened to the folk genre. And this is one of the best things that happened to recorded music. We got a Strange Face, and here for the first time I think, oh, this is the mix here is not really good. It's uneven. The guitar is too loud, so that song doesn't fully work for me. Then we get to 3 different takes of Day Is Done, and on different days done as well. And the first version is with, I believe it's cello. It's very dreamy. The second version, the guitar is very pointy and sharp, and not dreamy at all. Beautiful and direct. And the last one is with a lot of strings, and it builds up as if it's not only just a classical arrangement, but the length of the song and the intro are changed, so the strings have room to breathe. And on this record, you just listen to 3 different versions, one after another. And usually you'd say, this is something for an archive. This is something, if you're interested, you can compare. But these 3 versions are so incredibly different that it is a wholesome listening experience. And it raises a question, a debate that I actually notice a lot among friends and friends of mine who are sound engineers and sound designers. I walked into a sound edit of a documentary a couple of years ago, and there was this discussion going on between the 2 sound designers who are friends of mine, and one believes that Nick Drake should sound as pure and direct and only guitar as possible, and the other thinks orchestras can even be pulled out, that it works. And I'm not sure if that is a classical debate among Nick Drake fans, but the 3 different takes on Day Is Done give us insight into that argument, and I'll leave my conclusion till the end of this video. Then we go into the second record, opening with Blossom, and this is the Cambridge version, and the sound quality is obviously a lot less than the first record. These are home tapes. His voice, however, sounds incredibly sweet. Made to Love Magic, during this demo or during this recording, he explains what he wrote during the recording. He explains it, which is interesting, especially for the concept of the album. Now you have the feeling as if you're part of some observational documentary kind of stuff, in which you're getting closer to the way Nick Drake works here. That is interesting. As a listening experience, it's different from the first disc a lot, because of the sound quality, because of the talking. There's more explaining and searching by Nick Drake on this record. Interesting for fans. I found it interesting to experience. The playing and the singing again is incredible here, but due to the quality, it's just a lot less captivating than the first disc. With 3 hours, we switch to the November sessions, which are perfectly recorded. This version of Time Has Told Me, with I believe a contrabass or acoustic bass, it's it's incredible. Saturday's Sun sounds fantastic with this bass. Fruit Tree has an incredible guitar here, and it's time to move to the third record. With Time of No Reply, it's the 20th of December session from 1968. Again, great cello song, the 4th of January 1969. Stunning. At this point, at record 3, what to say, all is gorgeous. Seriously, all is gorgeous. It makes me think of a restaurant in the east of the Netherlands that I frequently go to. They have a French kitchen, but it's all in this farm. A beautiful old Dutch farm among the trees, among the animals. And when you go there, when it's autumn and the leaves are orange, and you sit there with a warm fireplace, they have the best dishes. They have the best food I've ever had in the Netherlands. It's Erfgoedbossum, if anybody's interested in the Netherlands or in Germany. Erfgoedbossum. Just every dish they serve is gorgeous. So every time when a waiter comes to you and you've had one of the courses, and they ask, how was it? Yeah, gorgeous. I'm just in a constant flow of my senses being tickled and enjoyed, and I'm just constantly in awe. That's what I'm having here during these sessions. That atmosphere, that feeling, it's just a pure pleasure. Mayfair, on this disc. It sounds different. Riverman here, it is stunning. Then we go to Way Too Blue, another Cambridge home tape. Somehow this one sounds pretty good for a home recording. The piano has a beautiful acoustic in that room. The Thoughts of Mary Jane here are the first moment in which I think the production is out of its place. The flute and the bass here are a bit too cheerful for what I like in Nick Drake. But it's not horrible. Saturday Sun, another brilliant take. That leads me to the question that I asked earlier. Do you want Nick Drake small and intimate, or with a band and strings? And perhaps that's also one of the insights this making of gives you. You're not listening to just a record with a strong 30-40 minute timeline. It's in there, but that's not the experience of this record and of this box. You are witnessing the process of Nick Drake. And the first thing that I noticed, and that just keeps building, is the outrageous talent that we're witnessing in this raw material, in the way he's building in the studio. You notice, you hear somebody whose playing is off the hook, good and in a direct line with his heart. Same for his vocals. All these different versions of songs, and when they add strings or remove them, or it's intimate or it's big, there's only one thing I can conclude. Each and all of these versions work. I'm a filmmaker, and in the editing you sometimes try things, and I've made documentaries about musicians, and then you hear stuff from the studio in which you think, oh yeah, well, so obviously this was not going to work. The road was straight ahead to the final project. And you do not have that with this. With Nick Drake, everything he does, and I think it's because of the deep emotional connection he has to the material and the brilliance of the writing, the brilliance of the playing. Any direction you choose, it works. This was such an undescribable diamond in the world of music. And at the end of it, I am once again sad that this man is no more. Because this is one of the most talented artists to ever be recorded. And there's so much sincerity in these recordings. Everything he does just works. I'm curious, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.